Thank you so much, Mr. Laurent, for these inspiring words, and thank you for creating such a program that sees the gap between different cultures and different people moving into our country. They are always welcome to our country, and this initiative is amazing, helping the integration and helping them integrate in our society today. Second, we have our second speaker, Mr. Abdelrahman Fahmy, the chairman of Youthinkgreen. With a mechanical engineering background, he has been developing his experience in environmental sustainable development, innovation and entrepreneurship, and project management for more than 5 years. Throughout his period, he co-founded the Egyptian group of the international youth movement, Youthinkgreen, Jugend denkt Welt, and managed to lead and inspire a small team of the most dedicated and motivated young talents to innovate, design, execute, support programs to empower Egyptian youth. Mr. Abdelrahman, please, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. They asked me for a 15-minute keynote speech. So I prepared 87 slides that I will go through and read them thoroughly. Oh my words. You have to get to look at people's faces right now from here. Really, it's an honor to be speaking to you today on the occasion of the closing of the Green Footprint program in collaboration with the International Organization of Migration, which is graduating a number of green startups and projects in the field of upcycling and recycling of wasted materials. And I thought I should be talking about how recycling contributes to the adaptation and mitigation of climate change in our countries. But I then remembered this Carbon Majors report by CDP and the Climate Accountability Institute, which stated that just 100 companies have been the source of more than 70% of the greenhouse gas emissions since 1988. So, continue recycling. So what are the sectors that those companies operate in? In fact, it's only one sector, which is the fossil fuel sector. The report, in fact, added that the amount of carbon emissions generated during 28 years since 1988, and why 1988? Because this is the year in which the human-induced climate change was officially recognized through the establishment of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. The amount of carbon emissions generated during 28 years from 1988 until 2007, which is the date of this report, is much more than the total amount of carbon emissions generated since 237 years since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution back in the 1750s. Who are the owners of those companies and why they are investing in such polluting industry? As you can see, nearly 40% of the owners are investors, whether public or private. This indicates that we have a strong chance to redirect such investments towards more cleaner businesses. Because if those investments remains and increases, the Carbon Major reports predict that if fossil fuels continue to be extracted at the same rate over the next 28 years, the global average temperature would be, of course, to rise by 4 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. This is likely to have a catastrophic impact and consequences into substantial species extinction and global food scarcity risks. So if we, as a climate and environmental advocates and activists, ask ourselves how much amount of investments needed to be greened and in which areas these investments should be redirected, we can look up the Green Investment Report by the World Economic Forum published back in 2013 that can give us an answer to those couple of questions. The report stated that to support a future global population of 9 billion people, an estimate of $5 trillion per year needs to be invested in global infrastructure. That's to say, $100 trillion over the next 2 decades. While greening those investments is one aspect of the challenge, the key is to secure financing for infrastructure needs in general for the future global population. Approximately $24 trillion is earmarked to be spent on infrastructure before 2030, falling short of the cumulative 60 trillion US dollars needed. There are also additional investments needed of at least 0.7 trillion US dollars per year to meet this climate challenge. This is needed for clean energy infrastructure, sustainable and low carbon transport, energy efficiency in buildings and in industry, and for forestry. Such ambitious investments aims to limit the global average temperature increase to 2% degree above the pre-industrial levels. Unlocking private finance is one of the major anticipated actions to support mobilizing investment to green projects. And I do believe that majority of the attendees today are working in a way or another to encourage private investments in different economic sectors in Egypt, whether through policy reformation, investment laws, financing ecosystems, and innovation and entrepreneurship. So back to the big picture of the green investments needed, it's very hard at the moment to project such numbers on a local level, on an Egyptian local level, given that I'm an engineer, not an economist. But what we know for a fact that in a country like Egypt, with more than 80% of its enterprises are micro, small, and medium enterprises, contributing only with 25% to the GDP of the country, there is a huge gap and opportunity for new ventures that can lead the sustainable transformation and development for our economy. An opportunity that can attract foreign direct investments to such growing and evolving market. So what we as Youth Think Green have to do with that? Let me give you a quick background about Youth Think Green. It all started back in 2009 with this Berlin-based teacher, Helmut Spiering, when he decided to start a global initiative for educating and empowering youth to act for sustainable development in their local and global communities. The model started that the local groups share the same mission and vision of Youth Think Green worldwide and start identifying key local challenges that youth could be empowered to tackle. Back in 2013, and during obtaining my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Cairo University, I got in contact with the organization in Germany and expressed my interest to be a local representative acting towards the shared mission in Egypt. Together with other three co-founders, and this is our picture, by the way, for the first meeting of Youth Think Green, we were very innocent and cute, and actually this is all gone. We are no longer innocent or cute. So together with my co-founders, we asked ourselves what Youth Think Green should be contributing to the Egyptian sustainable development endeavor. It was crystal clear that entrepreneurship is foreseen by young people as a potential opportunity to foster Egypt's economy and create job opportunities that they wish for. Back then, we set in front of our eyes a clear mission that we as Youth Think Green have to build the capacity of youth to be trusted as sustainability leaders in the business sector. Leaders who can impact the green investment scheme locally and globally. Leaders who can innovate products, business models, and disrupt the conventional value chains within a futuristic, sustainable approach. We founded the Sustainability and Entrepreneurship Youth Program, which we organize annually since 2014, with the aim of communicating sustainable business opportunities with the Egyptian youth in an interactive, engaging, holistic way, and to enable them to act towards such sustainability pillars in their respective startups, corporations, or institutions. Here, as you can see, there are a couple of statistics on topics that we have worked on throughout the journey of 5 years. We have worked on renewable energy. We started to work on sustainable cities. We worked on water sustainability. And lately, for the last couple of years, we have been focusing on circular economy and waste management. We have impacted directly and indirectly more than 1,000 beneficiaries from the university and graduate sector, youth Egyptian sector. And we partnered with more than 40 organizations throughout the endeavor of 6 years. So, what's the story behind collaborating with IOM? Back in 2015, and during the launching of Youth Think Green Tree of Hope book in the German Chancellery in Berlin, such a book which is considered a sustainable development education encyclopedia from worldwide practices and projects. During the launching event, His Excellency Mr. Peter Altmaier, Minister of the Chancellery back then, requested from Youthinkgreen global movement to engage migrants and refugees in the climate and sustainability action. This was during the year of 2015, which witnessed a huge migration and refugee challenges worldwide. Days after days, we on a local level didn't manage to incorporate migrants' engagement in our strategy. This was until we came in communication with the International Organization of Migration, whom I would like to thank for the support in bringing this project to life. Such project that my colleague Shireen Al-Wattar will go through its details later was a new learning experience for us, a new social impact dimension that we aspired for a while. Today should remind us all that migrants and refugees should not be considered as a burden on any country's economy, but rather a new opportunity for innovation and diversity within our societies. It should also remind us that sustainable economic, social, and environmental development is the only road to a peaceful, greener future that offers equal opportunities to every living creature on the planet. Throughout the course of the project, we worked with more than 6 different nationalities, and that made us much more ambitious to expand our projects throughout the MENA region and the African continent. We are looking forward to work with organizations to replicate our projects regionally, and we aspire to engage public, private, and development entities in an impact-based approach towards empowering youth to lead the sustainable development transformation in our region. I believe the panel following today will give us a broad picture about how collaboration could be achieved between different sectors, public, private, and development, in supporting our country's transformation to a more circular and inclusive economy. Finally, I would like to thank International Organization of Migration for their support. Thank you, Mr. Laurent Dubuc. Thank you, Mr. Hugo Augusto. Thank you, sincere thanks goes to Shireen Zayed. Thank you all for your partnership. And I would like to also thank my team, Shireen, Mariam, Muhammad, Nada, Nadine, Isra, and all the volunteers who have worked tirelessly on this project. Thank you so much. And thank you all for your attention. Wish you a fruitful day ahead. Thank you so much.